Does anyone have any questions related to yesterday's class? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so today we'll be discussing on the concept called as display property in CSS. So let us start. So every element in the HTML actually has a default display property. For example, yesterday we have seen like the label tag was having default value as inline. Similarly, div tag will be having default block display property. So there are different properties. We'll see one by one today. So I'll just first explain like what are the available properties. First of all, there are block, inline block, and then inline, flex, grid, and there are much more. But these are the 5 things that we actually need. Anyone previously used these display properties before? Does anyone have any idea about this? No? Okay, okay, great. Okay, so by default, all the div tags will be having a property as display block. What this block means is like it will occupy the entire width of the available screen. So for example, this block 1 will cover the entire block here, and similarly the block box 2. This will also cover the entire width. If we just go and inspect this, we can see the div as the display block property. And what it means is like it will occupy the entire width, and which means it's like vertically aligned, the display block property. If suppose we are having 2 different spans here, okay, so these 2 spans will come one after the another, like this one. So which means it's like this will cover whatever the width that it should occupy. So it is like a horizontally aligned one, the inline properties. So when we inspect this one, it has the display inline property here. So this is what the block and the inline property is. And let's discuss about what is inline block means. So we have seen like the block property actually takes the entire width of the particular line. So to overcome that one, we have one more property called as inline block. So what this inline block does is like it will just bring all the elements in a single line itself, just like this span elements. We can see that one here now.
Yeah, Prasad, can you close the Explorer? Windows mod.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so now you can see these two elements previously were like one after the another in the vertical axis, but now they are in the horizontal axis. It's because of the property inline block. So inline block's behavior is like it will make all the block elements in the same line direction. And also if we change the span elements also in inline block, then we can actually give width to the elements. So yesterday Vasan discussed about two things, right? So the tags which are having a display inline won't be having width and height properties. So to overcome that, we can have the display inline block, and for that inline block, we can give the width and height. So for example, for this text element, we can again give the same thing. Okay, just the same code, so I'm removing this one. So now you can see this one. So the text one and the text two, they are actually having the width 200 px and the height 200 px now. So yesterday, few people are facing this issue, right? For the label tag, they are not able to set the width, and for that they were using NBSP, and to remove that we have used margin right value. But this is the proper way of overcoming that one. So these are the three properties in the display: the block, inline block, and the inline. Does anyone have any doubts in these three values? First of all, if no, at least can you please send that in the in chat? Okay, great. Okay, so next there are two main concepts. They are called as flex and grid. So we'll be discussing on that one. So there are few problems we will be facing with this inline block and the block, the first three properties, which are like the layouts. It is very difficult for creating a kind of layouts like the header and the side navbar and the main content and the footer. So dividing and partitioning those things using this block and inline block is very difficult. So that's where we are going to use flex and grid to give the solution. And also like to create a responsive web pages, meaning like it should be properly aligned in a website page and in iPad view and also in mobile view. It is actually difficult it is actually difficult using these three properties, but using flex and grid it will solve all those problems. So if we are going to use flex, we have to remember two things. One is about the parent and about the child. These boxes are there, right? Box one and box two. We need to wrap those elements inside a wrapper, which is called as a parent element or a flex container. Yeah. So this main block, we call it as flex container or the parent element of the flex. And these elements, we call it as flex item or the children elements. So for the container, we need to give the display um, flex property. So by doing that, so we can see the changes now. Since we already have this display inline block, we were not able to see much changes here, but I'll just comment this one and this one also. If you see this one now, by default, the div elements will be having the display block property, which means it will just occupy the entire width. So for that reason, we are unable to cover these spaces here. So to overcome that, we can use this display flex for the container element. By doing so, all elements will be placed in the same axis. So this is the display flex, and this display flex also has additional multiple values, which are very useful if you are going to align items in main axis or in the secondary axis, like in the horizontal axis or the vertical axis. Let me explain that one. If you see this one, the entire width is up to this much actually, but since our boxes have at least only 200 pixel width, it has just covered up to till this point only. So if suppose we need to evenly distribute these values till the end of this container. So for that things, we have different values inside the display flex properties. We'll explain those things. First of all, I'll just add a border to visually see this size. You can see the size here, and we just covered only the half of the place. And there are few properties here which are like justify content. So that what the justify content will do is like it will align the elements in the main axis, horizontal axis, with the whatever values that we are giving. If suppose we are giving it as a flex start, it will align the elements in with the start of the container, which means the left end of the container. So since that is the default behavior, we cannot see any changes now. If suppose we are going to give this as a flex end, all the elements will be moved to the end of the container, to the right of the container. And what if suppose we need to evenly distribute this one? So for that one, if suppose we need to move these elements to the center of the container, we can just mention center. So the center, what we will do is like just it will take it to the center of the container. Similarly, we have three more properties: space around, meaning like it will just give equal spacing between all the boxes. Like say for example, this side it is 200 pixel, this side 200, and from the box 2 it is 200 pixel. So it is like this one. This is the space around, and there is one more thing called as space between. So it will equally space all the boxes in the container, like from the left end to the right end. And there's one more property, space evenly. You can see like similar to the space around, but it will just space all the gaps evenly here. Yeah. So these are the main 6 properties for the justify content. If anyone has any questions, I will repeat it, or we'll move to the next property. Does anyone want me to repeat this justify content value, or is it clear?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So one of my
Sir,
friend
one
is
of-
waiting. So
So
please let her in.
one girl is waiting outside lobby, sir.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Host has to actually check this one. Even I'm not the host here.
Ma'am, can you please check the lobby?
Give me a minute.
Okay, I guess everyone joined now. Okay, who has joined recently? Can you please?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, actually what we are discussing is like we are discussing about the display property in CSS. If we have already have the prior knowledge about it, we can just continue from this flow, or else I'll just repeat quickly whatever that we have discussed so far.
Yeah, he's
You
asking the one whomsoever joined at the end just now.
Okay, I'm not sure like who joined recently. It's fine. Okay, I'll just continue with the flow. If anyone has any doubts, just please at least send in the chat. I will start explaining from the basics of the flex again, because if I start in the middle of it and the new person won't be able to understand it. So I'll just explain it again. Sorry, come again.
Flex property, please repeat, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so the display flex property, to consider the display flex property, we need to understand two things. One is the parent element or the flex container, and the other is the flex item or the children elements. So there are few properties available for the display flex. For to get that display flex, first of all, we need to give this display flex to the container element. By doing so, we will be having this kind of view. The container will be the entire width, and all the elements will be aligned in the same aligned to the left of the container. And if we want to align it in the main axis in a different way, we can use the justify content property. So this justify content property has different values. I'll start from the flex start. So when you give the flex start, it will align the elements from the left end of the container. And if suppose you give it as a flex end, it will align elements to the right end of the container. And similarly, like we have center, which will make it align to the center of the container. And we have three more properties: space between, space around, like this one, and one more property is space evenly, like it will evenly distribute the spaces between all the boxes. So this is about the justify content property. And there is one more property called as align items. We'll discuss about that one. So before that one, I'll just add the height of this container to 500 pixel. So if you see, so the height of the container is 500 pixel, and the children elements is like just 200 pixel. So it is like aligned to the start of the container. If we can align these elements to the end of the container, to the middle of the container, if we need so. So to do that one, we just need the align items property. And with the align item property, actually we can align all the elements similar to the same one. If we mention it as flex start, it will take it to the start of top of the container. If it's flex end, it will take it to the bottom of the container. And if you just mention the center, it will take it to the center of the container. These are the three values mainly. And if suppose there's one more property called as stretch. When we give stretch, all the elements will take the same height as of the container element. Okay. So these are the three properties that are mainly used in the flex layout. One is the display flex, and the second one is the justify content, and the third one is the align items. And apart from these, we have few more properties which are called as flex direction and flex row. Sorry, flex wrap. First of all, let me explain about the flex wrap. So for that one, I need like a few more boxes here. Yeah. So I just added 12 boxes here. Even though I have given width 200 pixels here to all the boxes, it is not actually occupying the 200 pixel width. It's because of the default behavior of the flex elements. If you can see here, it has taken only around 158 pixels here. So because flex actually is like one dimensional layout design. So because of this, it is actually trying to wrap all the elements in the single row. If suppose we need to bring the elements to the next line, there is one more property called as flex wrap, and we can mention whether we need to wrap it or wrap it in a reverse direction, or that we don't need to wrap it. The default value is no wrap, so that is the default behavior. If we change this to wrap, the elements will be wrapped, so occupying the same width that we have mentioned here. Now it has occupied the same 200 pixel width. And here again we can just have these values. Center, we can change it to flex start. If you change it to flex start, these elements will go to the left end of the container. So this is about the flex wrap property. And there is one more property which is called as flex direction. The thing is like the flex is like a single direction layout, which doesn't mean like it is always aligned in the horizontal way. It can be aligned in a horizontal way or in the vertical way. So but the default behavior is the horizontal direction. If we need to change that one, we can give the flex direction to column, and we can remove the flex wrap. Now you can see like it has taken from box 1 to box 12 in the um, vertical direction. And since we are given the container height as 500 pixel, it is trying to occupy all the elements in this height itself. If suppose we have this flex wrap property, all the elements will take 200 pixel height, and if it doesn't have enough space for the next element, it will try to move that element to the next column. So like this one, box 1, box 2, and then box 3 will go here. Yeah. Okay. So this is about the flex direction, whether we need to change it to row or column. There are two more properties in same flex direction, which is like row reverse and column reverse. When we give this as row reverse, all the elements will be aligned in the opposite way. Previously, we were having like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it is in the 4, 3, 2, 1. And same for the column reverse. Box 4, 3, 2, 1. Previously, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it has changed to box 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm stopping here for any questions. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
So at the end of this session, like after he completes it, let's have a tiny task, which won't even like take more than 5 minutes, but let's have 10 minutes for that.
Okay. So we have seen these few properties related to the Flex container. There are few additional properties that are for the Flex children elements that we'll be seeing now. There are properties like Flex basis, which will actually tell about the width, how much width that the element has to occupy here. Say, suppose if we are mentioning it as 30%, all the elements will try to get the 30% width of the container. But since it is not possible, it will try to get the most of it. If suppose we are giving it as 10 percentage, it will try to occupy only the 10% of the entire container, just like this one. It is like around 183 something. Thus you can give the flex basis value, and there are few more properties which are called as flex grow and flex shrink. So what it means is like we have like enough free space here in our container. If suppose we are giving a flex grow value to this box 4, means it will try to occupy n times of the whatever value that we are giving in the flex grow property. For example, I am just adding a id here, box 4, let's say. To for the id selector, we need to use the hash box 4. We can give flex grow as 2. If you see this one, now the box 4 alone has taken more width when compared to other boxes here. It's because of the flex grow property, and it actually depends on the whatever value that we are giving. If suppose I am having one more box called as box 3, and it has flex grow value 2, you can see the difference now. So it has taken 2 times of the 2 times more width than the box 4. The default value for the flex grow is 0. And also we have a few more properties called as flex shrink. So what it does is like when we minimize the screen, the width of the element will actually reduce in a much faster way. Since everything has same value, we cannot say. you can see that this box 1 and box 2, the size decreases rapidly since they have the flex shrink value 2, and the box 3 and box 4, they have the flex shrink property as 1, so they reduce very slowly here. This is about the flex grow and flex shrink properties, and there is a shorthand for this one to write this flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis. How we can write this, like just flex and the value for the flex grow, value for the flex shrink, and the flex basis value. So now the box 4 has taken 40% width, and also with the flex grow value 2 times. Same for the box 3. It has taken the flex grow value 1 and width as 20%. Now there's only one more last property here for the flex.
In here, first one is
Yeah.
stretch and second one is shrink, right?
Yes, flex. First one is flex grow.
Flex
Second
grow.
one is flex shrink.
Yeah, okay.
Third one is flex basis. Okay, great. We'll just discuss about last property for the display flex layout. Again, we'll have this height as 500 pixel, and I'm just removing all the flex spaces here to a clear view. Okay, so now if you see this one, in the vertical axis, the elements are all in the center aligned. Like the entire height of the container is 500 pixel, but since the box height is just 200 pixel, it is aligned to the center. It's because we are given the align items property as center. So all the elements will try to give equal spacing to the top and also to the bottom. It's because like the parent element is having this align items property, and all the child elements will behave with respective to this parent elements property. If suppose we need to change only for one property, we can give that value for the child itself directly, so that will take the top priority. For example, okay, if you see this one here, we are given the align self property, and we have mentioned it as flex start only for this box 4. So all the boxes, box 1, 2, and 3, are they are actually aligned centered in the vertical axis, and only this box 4 is aligned to the top of the container. It's because we are given the value as flex start for this box 4 alone. If we change this to flex end, it will be moved to the end of the container. Similarly, we can do this for any of the box actually. Okay, so this is all about flex layout. If anyone has any questions, we'll discuss on that one, or else now Vasanta will be giving some task and try to complete that within 5 minutes.
Okay, I think no one has any questions. Thanks, Prasad. Let's continue this later. First, I'll be sending you an image. What I want you to do is just replicate that by using whatever he has taught you right now. So try to bring out this layout, uh, and there is no need for the bottom portion where you see the uh, circles. That is not needed. It's 6:43. Let's get back at 6:50, or let's say 6:55. Yeah.
And you can use any dummy image here. It's not necessary that you have to use the same image.
Yes.
And you're most welcome to give some creativity in your design. Like it's not just about the two cards. You can add multiple cards also, or you can have different layout. Just give some creativity if possible.
ஹலோ சார்.
Yes.
சார் கரெக்ட் சார். ரெண்டுமே ஆப்ஷன் மாதிரி கிளிக் பண்ற மாதிரி இருக்குமா, இல்ல வெறும் பிக்சரா சார்? ஆக்சுவலி சரியா புரியல, கேட்கல.
Which one? எது?
இதான் சார், இது வெறும் பிக்சரா இல்ல ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் மாதிரி நம்ம கிரியேட் பண்ணுமா? அது ரெண்டுத்துக்கும் ஜூனியர் டிசைனர் ஆர் ஆர்டிஸ்ட் டைரக்டர்.
இந்த இமேஜ் இதே யூஸ் பண்ண அவசியம் இல்லை. ஜஸ்ட் ஏதாவது ரேண்டமா நீங்களே ஒரு இமேஜ் போட்டுக்கோங்க.
நேம் வரணுமான்னு கேக்குறீங்களா இல்ல எப்படி?
இந்த பிக்சர் அப்படியே வரணுமான்னு கேக்குறேன்.
இல்ல எக்ஸாக்ட் பிக்சர் இல்ல, நீங்க எந்த பிக்சர் வேணா யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். பட் அந்த லே அவுட் அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கணும். மேல ஒரு இமேஜ் பிளஸ் கீழே அந்த டைட்டில் இருக்கணும்.
ஓகே ஓகே சார். ஓகே சார்.
அண்ட் ஆல்சோ மேல சூஸ் யுவர் ஜாப் டைட்டில்னு இருக்குல்ல, அந்த விஷயம் இல்லாம வந்திருக்கணும்.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே சார்.
ஜஸ்ட் இந்த கீழே இருக்க 3 டாட்ஸ் மட்டும் வேண்டாம், மற்றபடி இங்க மேல இருக்க இந்த என்டர் கார்டு வர மாதிரி.
யா, வித் தட் கார்ட் டிசைன், கார்ட் மாதிரி இருக்குல்ல அது.
புரியுது சார்.
யா,
தேங்க் யூ.
யா.
பா சப்போஸ் வந்து பிரேக் ஆச்சுன்னா திருப்பி இதே ஐடியில ஜாயின் பண்ணிக்கோங்கப்பா. வசந்தன் 1 minute. சப்போஸ் பிரேக் ஆச்சுன்னா திருப்பி இதே ஐடியில ஜாயின் பண்ணிக்கோங்க மீட்.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Yeah.
So whoever completes, you can just share your screen and show. Or else, if you even if you have any questions, you can ask.